Hi everyone, welcome to our first embedded programming tutorial, and our topic for this segment is project directory creation. Before we start anything or exploring or learning embedded programming, it's essential to know how did we or where did we place our projects. Um, Usually when we start learning, we usually neglect organizing our files, and it turns out it's a vicious habit to do so, and until we become or became lazy to organize our folders. So let's not be like that and start organizing our subs. So this is where we place our projects directory, and we created a MindLab directory under Drive C, and under Drive C there is a software directory. Inside software directory is projects directory, and in this folder, this is where all the project directories are placed or created. So as of the moment, I'm showing three different projects that we have here in our projects directory. Each individual folders have the same directory structures. Let's try to look at delay underscore test. You can see inside this folder, there's a bin directory, project directory, and source directory. Let's open another project and see if I'm not fooling you around. Okay, so in the heartbeat directory, you will also see same directory structures, bin, project, and source. So what's inside these directories? Bin is where the compiler plays the output file or the hex file. Project folder is where all IDE, or since we will be using MPLAB, all MPLAB related files will be located. And source directory is where all our C and header files are located. Let's try to see what's inside. So let's open up the bin directory. Inside bin directory, let's locate that hex file. So this is the .hex file. This file is the one that we will load to our microcontrollers. And this would be the input of our MindLab loader software. So always remember this directory. And then let's try to see what's inside project. Under project, you have the project file and the workspace file that is used by MPLAB. And then let's look at the source. Here you can see the C files and the header files. Doing this kind of structure is a bit cumbersome to do. Let's try to create one and see how cumbersome is this. Say for example, let's create a new project. So every time I created a new project, I always start put creating the top layer where I usually name the title of the project. So say for example, let's have a test project. Okay. Then the next step that I will do is to create those directory structures. So I'll create bin, and then the next thing is what project, and then what's the last one? The source. And you can see it's a very manual process. And if you're lazy like me, you would surely say that you won't like this methodology. So what we can do is to create a batch file to do it for us. So luckily I already created one, and let's copy this batch file, and let's also um, look on to what's inside the batch file. So let's copy this, and then after copying that, let's paste it inside the newly created project directory. So let's look what's inside of this batch file. So basically, it's just doing some automation stuff. So I'm creating a project directory. After I created the project directory, I created the source directory, and then I created the bin directory. I added an extra line here since I'm using the existing framework or source framework that we have in MindLab, so I added this line. But for our tutorials, we'll start with the basic one. So I will try to modify this one and remove this line here. Okay. To do that, you just have to right click and edit, and then the notepad will just pop up. And then what would I do is that I would just delete these two lines of code here and then save it. And then after saving, I just have to close the notepad. Okay, so now that those lines were removed or deleted, let me just close this preview pane. So let's run our batch file and let him do the magic for us. And indeed, and sure enough, we have our 3 project directories, and that's it. Um, um, we try to create the structures um, because there are a couple of benefits in doing this kind of structures. Sometimes, if you just let the IDE create for you all the directories, it's sometimes it's hard to find the files that you wanted, which is usually the files that you are usually working with, like say the hex files, the C files, and everything. And without doing some organizational structures, it end out that things will be convoluted, and yep. So it's better to be it's best practice to organize your stuff at the first time you're creating your project. I guess that would be all for now for this segment. And today we learn how to create this or how to create project directories and how to organize them. And also, you learn how to create a batch file in a couple of seconds. Thanks a lot for watching and listening. Um, watch out for upcoming videos and expect for more. Until then, rock the world.